This is MJ. I love Tokusatsu, and right now I want to talk to you about Ultra Fight Galaxy 10. This is Ultra Fight Galaxy New Generation Heroes, episode 10. These are my thoughts on it, basically. So, this is the culmination of a lot of fights. It was funny, I glanced down at the YouTube comments after I had basically had this all prepped, just to kind of glean any extra information from the larger Ultraman fan base who's been following it for longer than I have. And I didn't get much. Nothing bad, but just some stuff that was way over my head. Like there were timestamps for songs and mentions of different forms. Like apparently, like there's a Ultraman Trinity form I'm not supposed to know about or something like that. Anyway, Groob. Anyway, that'll be interesting to see if that happens in the context of the show. But a couple people mentioned something which was one of my favorite things, which is that Ultra Woman Grigio actually got to kick some butt. She was fighting Dark Zero, and she was talking about how she'd been inspired by Zero, and while her color timer is still flashing, which is a big bad for Ultra people, Ultramen and women alike, she puts out a volley of attacks on this guy, and she sends him back a good ways, and then after that, this really cool thing happens where her color timer kind of glows, and she glows, and all this energy comes out, and it goes over to her brothers, and it refills their color timers, and they're able to stand and fight again. And the coolest thing, which I don't know why I hadn't thought about this, or why it was so surprising to me, last episode we saw Ultraman fusions, and these guys fuse too. Something really cool about when Russo and Blue fuse, which I think they become Rube, but I don't know for sure, because it was a little hard to hear exactly what they were saying, and I had the subtitles off. Anyway, their fused form looks a lot like Grigio. There's the more of the silver and orange, and I think she's got some black on her that they have as well, and it was really cool to see. And I think maybe because I have kids, it was interesting to see, like it was called out by one of the other Ultras that this, bond of Ultra siblings is what was able to overcome. And it was just really neat to see, these guys are trying to rescue their sister, and she's trying to save them as they're, against the ropes and really getting trounced by, I guess, Dark Zero. Ultra Dark Killer was there too, but then, Dark Zero was beating them pretty badly, or the two of them were. And then, she digs deep, she finds her courage, she stands up and does what she can to help her brothers, and it strengthens her. She's able to push back this guy, and then she's able to encourage them and cause them to rise up, and then they do this cool combination, and it just strengthens them. And because they're familial love and everything, they're able to make this big pushback against the darkness. And I guess the thing about Tokusatsu that I love, which I hope I haven't said this too much talking about Ultra Fight Galaxy, is just how symbolic it is of everything, and it makes me think about, especially I think Ultraman and like SSS Gridman, with Alexis Carib and how he operated and everything. It really makes me think about like the human condition, and I think because it's also outlandish, like even more so than comic books to me, it makes these things feel relatable and transferable to my own life, or to real life. You can see these struggles that the heroes go through. You can see, the depravity of the villains and ascribe that to different things in your life and really draw inspiration from them. And it's really neat. So anyway, cool fights, cool combinations, cool new power-ups. And then Ultra Dark Killer still gets to be really cool, because even though I guess Rube is fighting against him, and he's all powered up, he still deflects their big attack, which they have this cool chakram weapon that they use, which it's funny, the Ultras, like, their weapons just come out of nowhere, which is kind of fun. Anyway, but Rube is using this, chakram, and it's got like all this, rainbowy effect to it, and it's like a saw blade, and anyway, all these cool things. He's using it to fight him, and he's beating him up with it pretty good, and then he tosses it at him, and then Ultra Dark Killer just deflects it, and then there's this massive explosion behind him, and it's just they're doing a really good job of setting this guy up as someone imposing and powerful, and you can see just how much of a struggle the Ultras are going to have against him, and what they have been having. But like, he's not done. This fight is not over, and I wonder how many more episodes are just going to be combat and wrapping up this fight. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Going Ultra can be found on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and mjmunoz.com/gu. I'm an aspiring author who will gladly accept your financial support through coffee. You can also check out my Redbubble store. Check out mjmunoz.com for more of my work, where you can find another Writercast, King of Hearts, Queen of Sorrows, NBA Loves Toku, where I'm covering Kamen Rider 01 every week. Relevant links are in the show notes. If you had a good time, like, share, and leave a comment. Subscribe and ring that bell to keep up with me as I explore more Ultraman. And remember, you don't have to shout Henshin to be a hero.